This video is sponsored by NordVPN. The Pixel has for many years trailed the iPhone in the pursuit to be one of the best high-end smartphones, but this year, I can't lie, things are changing. We are in the AI era, and Google is absolutely killing it. Here's why I think you'll be shocked at just how these two compare after generations of domination. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and these two phones are absolutely elite. They cost serious amounts of money, have massive and heavy bodies, and are designed around the company's best respective features to give you the pinnacle of what they can offer. But the Pixel is an example of how to do this right, and the iPhone is Apple trying to do its best to lean on its past success and reputation instead of actually competing. Let me explain after a quick word from our sponsor. One of the most convenient and handy inventions of the last few years is certainly a VPN, and that's where this video's sponsor NordVPN comes in. Not only does this service help you browse anonymously, tunneling your network traffic through another region which helps secure your connection, but it's also just really handy for watching programs, movies and sports that you just wouldn't get in your home version of Netflix, for example. Or if, like me, you're a die-hard Premier League fanatic and you go on holiday, being able to log into your streaming services just as you normally would without a fuss is brilliant, and NordVPN allows you to do that. It works on Mac, Windows, iOS and our beloved Android. It's easy to install and get set up. If you go to nordvpn.com/androidpolice, you'll get up to 77% off a 2-year plan and 4 months extra for free. So check that link out in the video description, and a big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring today's content. iOS 26 is not an amazing piece of software, far removed from the polished, well thought out operating system that the iPhone was built on. Sure, it has some cool light behaviors going on with the liquid glass theme, but the camera app is, well, that carousel is just incredibly unintuitive. There are frequent bugs, and the AI here feels sort of half-baked or rushed to catch up with the competition. Contrast that with Pixel's admittedly less flashy software, but it manages to bake AI right into the fabric of the system with actually useful applications at times. I'm no AI fan personally, but I can't deny that Android 16 M3e with Gemini, Pixel Studio, ProRes Zoom, which we will take a little look at later, is just the better piece of software. Both of these phones get lots of software updates, so expect to be on the latest respective version going into the next decade. But where things get a bit murky for longevity is the performance and battery life. Because in benchmarks, the iPhone smokes the Pixel. There's just a lot more power going on inside the 17 Pro Max than the 10 Pro XL, particularly in CPU and GPU performance. Both of these phones are more than capable of running games at 120 Hz on their big screens. But the iPhone is likely to just stay faster for longer because it has more power to start with right now. And the battery life is maybe a little bit more tame. The 17 Pro Max for me is quite easily a 2-day phone, whereas the 10 Pro XL under the same conditions is more a full day with a bit left in the tank the next day, because there's quite a lot of standby drain going on overnight with the Pixel, but the iPhone doesn't seem to be as bad in this regard. And for reference, both of my phones here are the physical SIM card models. So for the iPhone, that means you actually get a slightly smaller battery than if you bought the eSIM only model, whereas the Pixel gets the same size battery regardless of which version you have. Charging is very similar. I found on a wire, I haven't really tested the G2 setup, sorry for that. But the long story short, both of these things will last you a full day. The charging isn't super fast, but maybe just do that overnight, because both have systems in place to prevent any kind of long-term battery problems. I want to touch on those displays quickly, as has the case in previous generations. In SDR, the Pixel is considerably brighter. SDR is sort of stuff like the video you're watching right now, or browsing around online, doom scrolling, that kind of thing. Most stuff is in SDR, but in HDR, such as certain videos online, films for example, you will find the iPhone takes the lead with an order of magnitude higher peak brightness. But since most content isn't HDR, at least just yet, I'd have the Pixel's panel every day of the week. But for both of these, well, they are some of the best screens you will find in a phone, and tuned to perfection as well. Though there are trade-offs with the iPhone having the bigger cutout at the top for Face ID and no fingerprint scanner, the Pixel has a smaller cutout and a brilliant ultrasonic reader, but then the bezels are quite a bit thicker on it as well. So I think Google is probably gonna get it better here, but again, personal preference on a lot of these things. I can't go any further without talking about the cameras though, because everyone is banging on about that iPhone's 4x new telephoto camera. In actual fact, this year, more than ever, the Pixel has actually kind of retaken the lead, and not just in zoom, pretty much everything. From moving subjects to ultra-wide to selfies, sure, the iPhone has a couple of new cameras and that will get people intrigued, but my money is back on the Pixel for the best smartphone camera package in a mainstream device in the West. I love how it balances color, contrast, it has the most complete mode selection, and I have the most faith in the Pixel to actually just get the shot right on the fly. I also think that despite the iPhone's super handy reorientable front camera making waves, the actual image quality between these two, I'd still go for the Pixel. I think it just takes better photos. Let me know what you think in the comments for this. Are you happy to trade off some sort of versatility for quality or go the other way? Quick interjection here. ProRes and ProRes RAW are both video formats that the iPhone shoots and that have been around for decades at this point. ProRes Zoom is not ProRes at all, it's what Google is calling its sort of AI generated zoom photos. Don't get these two confused because they are entirely different things. Cheers Google, kids crying now. The Pixel taking the crown is most obvious actually in its long-range camera. Sure, the 5x hardware is the same as the last couple of generations of Pixel, but pushing beyond 30x, the Pixel just takes things to another level by running its mushy initial shot through an AI black box to present a final product with far more sharpness and detail. And you can do this all the way up to 100x as well, where the iPhone caps out at 40 with its 4x camera, and images are decidedly soft and noisy in many cases. Whilst Apple has improved the iPhone's long-range shooting capabilities, it is still a ways behind the likes of Samsung and very much positively Google as well, because they're just pulling ahead. In video, things are sort of confusing, so pay attention to this. The Pixel can actually shoot Ultra HD 4K 60 and then 8K 30 via video boost, which requires cloud processing. The iPhone cannot do 8K at all, but it can do 4K 120 for higher quality slow motion. The 8K video boost sends the video to the cloud to upscale and then come back down, and it's probably the best smartphone video ever, to be honest. Whereas if you, for whatever reason, need to use your phone in a more professional environment, then using ProRes Log and now ProRes RAW on the iPhone will deliver basically the best video out of a smartphone, but it does require you to actually go and grade it. So most consumers are not going to want to do this. And there's an additional caveat that for certain modes, resolutions, frame rates, you actually need to hook up an external SSD drive. These can be quite expensive, so be wary of that too. Overall though, I would confidently say that for most people, myself included, who's even a camera enthusiast, you're probably better off going with the Pixel. It shoots better automatic video, the cameras are just more reliable, especially for moving subjects, and that zoom is just in a completely other league. And though this might be a bit more subjective, Apple and Google have made two really luxurious phones this time around, but the Pixel takes the win for design and build in my opinion, and there are a couple of reasons for this. They're about equal size and weight, which is to say big, bulky, heavy, significantly more so than like even the S25 Ultra. But the 10 Pro XL oozes class with its polished rails, swanky camera bar, and small screen cutout at the top, where the iPhone just really cannot compete. And just added to that, there have been reports of the top layer of paint chipping off of the iPhone super easily, which for a device that costs $1,200 is simply unacceptable in my opinion. The Pixel looks better and seemingly will be more durable as well, and that is a big deal. What we have here is a fascinating conclusion because not only is the Pixel able to compete from a technical level with the iPhone this year, but I think it is absolutely the better phone and the one I would pick if I was about to drop $1,200 or £1,200 here in the UK. And that for the first time in years is a massive leap for Google and perhaps a wake-up call for Apple if anything else. Guys, which of these two phones would you buy? Are you an AI zoom fanatic, or do you think the Pixel 10 Pro's slick design is better? And also the fact it doesn't just chip super easily is probably very helpful. Or are you happy relying on that long-term performance, maybe battery life of the traditional iPhone? Let me know in the comment section and let's start a discussion with the AP community. Whilst you're down there, be sure to hit like if you enjoyed today's content and subscribe to never miss another upload. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Ryan Thomas and I will catch you later. Cheers.